are very young. Yeah? So that's why people tended to say, "Oh, these are they come crazy. These young guys, these children." So to say. There have been so many crazy things coming up, like in the 60s, the hippies, and so many things coming. And the older people were not used to these kind of weird things, especially in Germany. They were very conservative, very, very conservative. Like my parents also, they were married their whole life. Okay, that's one divorce or something. They had golden wedding, I'd say diamond wedding, and all this stuff. Nowadays, I heard in Germany when you get married, they tend to make contracts. So in case of separation, who stays with the property and the money and all that stuff. It was not a consideration before. Anyway, so yes, we say. And people used to say, amongst the hippies, the Hare Krishna are the most far gone. They're most far gone. At one point, they even thought that Hare Krishna was the religion of the hippies, the hippie religion. Because most of our devotees came from that area. So why? Because at that time, the hippie religion was not just a kind of fashion like that. But it actually was based on something more profound. Young people were revolting against their traditions. They were looking for a deeper meaning in life, like that. Subculture. It was called subculture. And when Prabhupada came, actually Prabhupada gave us this. And the alternative to material consumism and material consciousness. And that's why so many young people follow Srila Prabhupada. And because Prabhupada wants to answer their questions in a way that they never heard before, about the purpose of life and about identity and all that. That we're not the body, we're souls, and all that. And that God is actually a fact. Yeah. In Germany, they have this term, Bildungslücke. No? Can you this? Yeah. Bildungslücke. Not to Prabhupada made it clear. Not to know God is just a Bildungslücke. Yeah. There's something missing in education. Anyway, so Prabhupada was actually our example. He was our acharya. Acharya means acharya. That means somebody who teaches by his own example, by his own bench. He was not somebody teaching us yoga and charging us money and all that stuff. No. He was teaching us how to become a loving servant of Krishna. Yes. And he was so much into it. He inspired all this. Everyone was sincere person would become very impressed by him. Even when Prabhupada wasn't walking amongst ordinary people. I remember sometimes we went to the airport, and to receive the Prabhupada. And then also when he was leaving, and most of the time when Prabhupada used to go to the airport, we stayed with him a long time. Prabhupada would sit down, and we were surrounded. We all sit on the floor before the Prabhupada. And people would pass. At that time, at the beginning, the airports were not like they are today. But it was very, very expensive to fly. And most of the people who flew, they were all dressed in suit with, suitcases. No, small suitcase. And tie and all that, serious business. Nowadays, you go to the airport and see all kind of things. There's no more dress code. Before to the airlines, they were having a dress code. You couldn't just go into the flight with any clothes you liked. No, it's a dress code. Anyway, so when we received Srila Prabhupada, that was a kind of atmosphere when Prabhupada came to Harvard. And we went to the airport, And at that time, we all thought that while spiritual life, there must be a carpet also, some incense like that. So when we went to the airport to receive Shafar, we went with a big carpet. 3 people carrying the carpet. And we put the carpet in front of the, like, where the passengers coming out. They were all serious. I always had the carpet and sergeant in a saffron color. And with a smile that was like with fun. And so we got enough power money. We all paid our bills with it. Yeah. And but we didn't know what to do. After what? So what? And there was one devotee Power had sent to India at that time. But Power started the movement in the West. In America, they were at war in Vietnam. And they were trying to get as many young boys to go to Vietnam and fight. And Howard used to say, these boys are not kshatriyas, they're not, how you say, guerreros. Warriors. They were not warriors. But can you see they're soft and humble and pure? And so Bowman had started to send American boys and disciples to other places, so they have to make the military service. And he also sent devotees to India. Some of the first devotees went to India. So then, and there was one boy amongst us who had just come from India, an American type of India, was his name. And when he saw Srila Power, he knew how to act over it. So he went out to Power and paid obeisance, dandavats, touched his shoes and his feet. Yeah. And Power, and we were amazed because of that. And also, Power bowed down and he, how you say, what is that? For it? Yeah, he blessed him. What is it? Patted him, rubbed. Yeah, he patted his hands. Wow, and then he took him to the taxi. We had the car at that time. So he took it to the taxi, and I was walking, and we were all sitting on the carpet. And then we came back to the temple. Our temple was not a real temple; it was just I say a shop. I say what is that? Storefront. Yeah, a shop. It was just one room. Yeah. And the bathroom, there was only toilet in between the floors, between the floors. And the neighbors were all comparting their bathroom. Anyway, these are the old traditions. So Paul came to us, and we had gotten an apartment for him. Yeah. I had no idea how we paid on this. Krishna made an arrangement for the beautiful. So then, he come back. We came back to the temple from the airport, and somebody said, "Howard wants to see us." So we all ran, went out with the elevator to the floor with Howard and the roof. So, and when we came out of the elevator, we could hear Howard sing from far away. He was singing. Kiba Jaya, Jaya Dora Jaya. This was a melody. It's a different melody this time. Anyway, so, and also the incense, smoke you can see on the pathway because the door was open. So then we came in, and it was a very tiny room. I was sitting on the bed, and he was playing harmonium and chanting the artisan. And his servant, Purushottam, would come with the power from America. He was doing arti. Because at that time, Power was traveling in small Radha Krishna business. And his servant, his assistant, would be the pujari. When he arrived, Power arrived with Purushottam. Purushottam wasn't dressed in he washed the clothes, but he was shaved. Big tilak, sika, and he had a ketting. What is that? He had a chain around his neck with a big juggernaut hanging there. Anyway, so Bhagavad thing, And then he would start speaking. And he was speaking in English. So he was speaking kind of Bengali English, special accent. And so our English was not up to date. It was more like school English. Anyway, so Paul started speaking, and then he finished. And there was one devotee who had brought his mother with him. And the devotee presented the mother to Srila. And Prabhupada said something very interesting. He said, "From a good mother, good son." The mother one. He liked Prabhupada. And then we started walking with Srila Prabhupada every day. Prabhupada was morning walks. And because it was very cold, Srila Prabhupada was wearing a mantle. What is that? Coat. He was using a coat. And he was using an synthetic, like a vacuum test. You put it down like that. Anyway, so we started walking with and different places. Sometimes Prabhupada sat down. When we went to the park, he would sit down. We would surround him, and most of the devotees would make notes of the Prabhupada said. Because it was so important. I mean, that we noticed more and more how important everything was at it. Every sentence that Prabhupada said. And Prabhupada had so the custom of how you say, quoting a lot of verses all the time. How you say, backing up what he was saying from trust. From the very beginning, Prabhupada was saying. Anyway, so I was walking behind Prabhupada once. But that was not in Hamilton, that was in London. We went on the morning walk in Hyde Park. So Prabhupada used to walk very fast. And one time Prabhupada all of a sudden stopped. Yeah, it was right behind him. Okay? I almost, and because I was so close, Prabhupada turned around and looked at me. I never forget that kind of feeling. saying without saying it. And actually, one shouldn't get too close to the Shastras say one shouldn't get too close, or very close to the deities and to the spiritualists. Especially with our consciousness, not very advanced consciousness. Because we tend to see things more from the material point of view. For example, the deities. We are having many deities all over the world in our items. And for example, here we have deities of the message. I remember
the material. No, copper, bronze. Five metals are there.
Oh yeah, okay. And sometimes when you get very close to the deities and not completely covered, you can detect some imperfections. The fingers maybe not very proportionate, not very well finished, polished like that. And this is actually offensive. That's why it's commanded. We stay maintaining the difference of the deities. And the spiritual master also. Yeah. But he's saying that familiarity breeds contempt. You understand this? Familiarity breeds contempt. Because we're not our vision is not very transcendental. And we tend to see things more from material point of view. Anyway, so Prabhupada was there, and he inspired us. And after Prabhupada left, we started opening different temple centers in Germany. Yeah, and this was not that like nowadays when we open new centers, there's so many considerations. At that time, Prabhupada would just say, "We go to a church and open a temple." And we will go alone. We will go alone. Sit on the street alone, take our touch, wait until somebody will come. And then we would say, well, maybe I need 2 square meters to lay down my sleeping bag. Can you help me with this? And then we just started. Anyway, this was the beginning. Now it's very different. Now it's a lot of more experience, more organization. Yeah. But Srila Prabhupada showed us this. He came all alone. He came alone at a very advanced age. He left India with 69 years, and then he arrived in New York. First in Boston. 70. He started his movement at 70. Normally, when you get to that age, you're not interested in big changes. What to speak of creating a work movement. No, you're more interested in retiring, play with your grandson or granddaughter like that. Look at the TV, read newspapers and all that, and discuss endless kajalpa with. Yes, and we are all indebted to them. This was all possible because Prabhupada under the order of his spiritual master. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati preach in the English language. Mission. And welcome. We can understand that Prabhupada was so successful by the mercy of his spiritual, because he took the instruction of his spiritual master. He was always thinking about how to do. There's so many difficulties. He was married at that time. He had children. He was working. Yeah, he had an important post in one company. Like that. So how to do it. More and more, it became manifest. Instead of retiring and becoming a retiree person, he actually started this team. And if we wouldn't, if the power would have come, I don't know what would have happened to us. Maybe not you, but me. Das war eine lange Antwort auf eine simple Frage. Any more questions or doubts? Yes. He's always answering questions.
Loud.
Yeah.
When we say Supreme Personality of Godhead or going back to Godhead, what is this Godhead? Because it can be simply Supreme Personality of God and going back to God. What is head? What's the significance of this word head?
Yes.
Godhead?
Krishna has many expansions. He came as Ram, Ram, and so many. But there's one identity of Krishna, which is the cause of all consciousness. I will give a nice example. He says, just like when you have a candle, and you make more. You burn more and more candles, and there might be many candles, but one candle is enough. That's Krishna. This is a free person. The most complete manifestation of God is free birthday God. Mentioned in the Nectar Devotion, it says that there's 64 qualities of Krishna by which he is characterized. He's also characterized by Bhagavan, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan. Bhagavad Gita is actually the song. The song. Now we used to say that Krishna doesn't speak like we speak, like German. No, but when Krishna speaks, he sings. Everything is sung. These mantras are sung. The spiritual world, it says that every step in the spiritual world is a dance. Every word is a song. And there are all kinds of vriksha trees, wish fulfilling trees in this world. And touchstones, Chintaki, touchstone. There's a different dimension. When Baba came to New York in the beginning, he was trying to register, start his International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Somebody was suggesting, why don't we say International Society for God Consciousness? Because it's not clearly defined. It's not clearly. There's so many conceptions of God, not very clear, very complex. That's why we have now Krishna. Because Krishna is Krishna. The cause of all God. As the original form of all the different manifestations of God. Like it says amongst the qualities of Krishna, we have 70-something% of the qualities. And there's personality have more, like Shiva, Brahma, and others. And also more complete and different expansions of Krishna. But Krishna has some extra qualities. Krishna plays the flute. Wow! You never see Vishnu playing flute. You never see Vishnu playing flute. Or dancing with the gopis with Radharani. The relationship that Vishnu has with Lakshmi is very formal. She only massages his feet, and Krishna series, but Krishna is full of joy. The Bhagavatam, it's recording all the activities that Krishna manifested 5,000 years in Vrindavan. These are the most confidential, most complete pastimes of the Supreme Personality. Like it mentioned, I think it mentioned also the first point that one can have 5 relationships with Krishna. And this is our natural constitutional position. We have a loving relationship, loving exchange. Still looking at change of meaning. That's the most complete relationship about. But not sentimental. First one has to be a sadhana. Sadhana. One has to follow, I say, rules, living life, strictly. Just like when you're sick, you go to the doctor, he makes this, I say, and then the doctor said, now you take this, avoid this, don't eat meat, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. That's what he said. But this is why, this is very true, because it's the cause of all our suffering, the reactions of our sinful activities. And then if we do that, and the doctor is this, a doctor, he's not speculating, but he studied properly, that he knows something about it. Of course, Ayurvedic doctors are more complete by regulating the doshas and whereas in the West, especially when they have to change things a little. They call this advancement. This is speculation. Never comes to a perfection state. Anyway, so and when you become healthy, then it's a different. And that's our healthy condition is that we become Krishna conscious. In the beginning, our spiritual life, we might have some difficulties in doing this, or follow some principles. Where we keep fixed, stay fixed. In good association with Vaishnava, where everything based on the Shastra, the Bhagavatam, the Gita. Then sooner or later we come to Raga Plus. Raganuga means that we do it naturally. Our attention, our affection flows. I think because and even if there are many sometimes appear some big obstacles, sometimes difficulties, we never stop being Krishna. We always continue. And not only continue, we want everybody else to know that too. Because it's so incredible. We have been blessed with Krishna consciousness. And we want to give it to others because it's so incredible. Was that still the answer to your question? Sorry.
Towards the answer, I just want to have a follow-up question if you don't mind.
Yes.
When we take Diksha, like Srila Prabhupada always emphasized that we have 16 rounds minimum and the 4 principles. Would that be enough to go back to Godhead? If, for example, if a devotee wakes up every morning, chants 16 rounds and follow portions, but no worshipping and no any fancy fasting and all
that's the basis. That is what it is. What? That's the basis. That's a stopping. By the following the principles, it says that we are just stopping. One time inhibitions, right? Sinful activity. We keep on acting in a sinful way, then it's the question of advancement of Krishna. Actually, the 4 regulatory principles are not even spiritual. They just help us to establish ourselves in many goodness. Buddhism is the basis. We just read this morning class from Srila Prabhupada. Because once a week we always hear in the temple, we always hear a class of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was speaking about that. He also said, when one is following the principles and chants Hare Krishna, molds his life in the Krishna conscious way, one becomes purified. And the qualities of the Lord goodness that manifest. And Prabhupada gave the example, so he cited the verse, Namo Dhamma Tapa, the qualities of the Brahmanas become manifest. And when the spiritual master sees how the disciples are advancing, he offers them the second initiative. In other words, it's not something that you should demand, but it's actually, we should be very, patient and very humble. And accept everything that is given. Second is in this way, Prabhupada says Brahmana doesn't mean that you're born in a family of Brahmana only. It says actually in Bhakti, it says Sarvadama
Sama Dhamma Saucham
Guna Karma. It said Guna Karma. What is it?
Guna Karma Vivajita.
Huh?
Maya Adhyakshana Prati Guna Karma Vivajita.
Yeah. But actually, it depends on the qualities. Just like how I said, sometimes in a very erudite, very learned family, somebody is born with not the quality at all. And mine men sometimes also in the family, very poor family. They don't not belong to any higher caste, somebody very intelligent is born. And has qualities completely different to his tradition, to his family. And so Bhagavad Gita said, Buddha karma. Buddha means the mode of nature. Karma means the kind of activity we tend naturally to, we feel attracted to. That is such a criterion. But by chanting Hare Krishna and being in the body, one not only becomes established in the mode of goodness, but actually, mode of goodness is the basis of frustration. It is the base, ground, the basic. That's why we follow the Four Way, and we regulate our life. For example, one thing that we also do, because the different parts of the day are under the influence of the three modes of nature. The morning is under the influence of the mode of goodness. Then passion states, and at night, you know, the fragrance. Normally, people don't tend to be very philosophical at night. They sit there and look at the screen. Anyway, did I answer your question?
Yes, Maharaj. The only thing that comes to my mind is that for the lazy rascal like me, if someone wants to know what is the minimum duty a jiva has to achieve Krishna Prema, to achieve the success.
You want to make a deal with Krishna? Minimum. What is the minimum? You know what? Just chant Hare Krishna. Follow these 16 rounds that we have in fitness. Follow regular principles. Read our books. Maintain a nice relationship with the audience. Naturally, you advance in Krishna consciousness. You become more and more inspired. You become more and more enlightened. You trying more and more to do something for Krishna. You don't come to the temple to take advantage of something just because it's nice food and all that. No, if you come to the temple to do something, to contribute something, yes, to help. Just like when you're in the temple, you come on the weekend. You weekend people. Yeah, anyway. With your daughter, you come, very nice, and you bring it to the temple. And you can see that the Buddhists are doing so many things. One is in charge of the verse and this and future. Yeah. Somebody is doing puja, the altar. Then we have so many other things, cleanliness, this and that, organization. The Buddhists are going out distributing books and just by coming and you observe all these things. Somebody comes to me and said, would you like to come out with me and go out to distribute books? And the person is like, friendly, always thanking. Yeah, no, you want to go out and do the same thing, learn something. No? And you are also one of your many of the good qualities you have is that you always ask the questions. This is very very yes. Very nice. That means you are thinking. Follow. You're not just waiting for this is just going right? Das geht sehr gut. Yeah.
Maharaj, you want so Maharaj Prabhuji saying we can take one question. We have to actually want to take your permission if we can have Gora Arati. But yeah, one question Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for wonderful class, especially detailing about the soul and the material body. when you're speaking, when I'm hearing, is it the soul is hearing or is it the body or subtle body? What is actually the relationship between the soul and the body? And maybe a little technical because I still do not have a clarity who am I. So theoretically fine, but how to really realize that it's the soul who is really hearing to it.
Well, when you come into the association of the bodies, you don't hear the Prajat crowds about political bodies and taxes. Normally, there's never a big pattern. Everything you hear is about you learn how to tell how to cook, you learn how to cook, you learn how to what part. I remember at the beginning, we were all very young, like I said, sometimes the parents would come and see what we're doing. And sometimes the mother would say, in my kitchen, never was the pot. But here you're washing pots. What is this? Because it was different. Because the devotees were actually enjoying serving. Cleaning bathrooms, cleaning the stairs, helping in the kitchen, or washing pots. And by this experience, by this taste, one is there, increase more and more. And that's one left and had to experience some experience first. And that would come back, wow, actually, it's the best place I've ever been. Can I stay here? Can I be with you? That's why you are here. Most of you I already have seen. And I can see how you develop in Christian culture. You become more and more anxious. Christian, maybe associate with devotees. Even if you don't understand properly. Prabhupada used to say when Prabhupada was traveling in India sometimes Prabhupada would start speaking in Hindi or Bengali. And his disciples were getting out of Prabhupada, no, stay here. Stay here. Even though you don't understand properly, it's good for you. Besides that, Prabhupada also wanted his disciples to be there, for preaching this, Westerners, agencies, spending hard on Krishna. They don't eat meat anymore. Prabhupada used to say that sometimes when Prabhupada used to make these Pandra programs, thousands of people. And Prabhupada was saying this was disciples from all over the world. And sometimes in the end, Prabhupada said, see these young people, how they have changed. He was eating meat before. And people was, wow. And it's the addicts. And we were, wow. Yeah, we're impressed by the change that Prabhupada produced. So you just continue from. It's just a question of time that you become more and more.
Maharaj, I have also one small question. In the last class, you have mentioned about Manaj Guru. So you said that Krishna says to Arjuna, please give your mind to me. Please focus your mind.
Think of me. Yes. Manyante. Yes. Thinking.
Yes. Think of me and give your mind to me. Yeah. So how we can think of Krishna always? How we can give our mind to Krishna? So because we are working,
by hanging these nice pictures on the wall that reminds you of Krishna. By always hearing, I say, Kirtan, Bhajans, from super duper, by inviting people. Somebody, when we were coming here, somebody was saying that you had changed place because somebody was saying that 80 people would come.
Yeah.
And I asked, well, how come so many people? It's a very small place. And then somebody died, here's your chance of it. He was speculating. It's always been a good place. Our family. Another thing is also, I noticed that our program is, sometimes so many people comes and they like sardines, right? And don't complain about the income because it's something there that makes them accept so many difficulties, disparities, just to be the like I said in the beginning, we had no furniture. Now it's like there were no seats. I remember one time my parents came to the company, and we had no chairs. My father and mother had to sit on the floor. My father was actually really angry. Now we have nice furniture, so you're comfortable. We have a microphone. We have so many amenities. And we have very nice, very beautiful books. Bhagavad. I say this is a book that should be at every home. In every household there should be a Bhagavad. In America, I noticed when traveling, most of these hotels for drivers, it's got a term.
Chauffeur.
Yeah?
Chauffeur.
For drivers. They are on the side of the
Hotels?
Motors. And many of these motors in the hands of Indians in America. Yeah, and so when you go to one of these hotels, they always have a Bhagavad Gita in the room. Very nice. And now it's our Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Our Bhagavad Gita. So everyone should have a Bhagavad Gita at home. Prabhupada used to say Bhagavad Gita is not different from Krishna. It's actually Krishna's presence. Krishna is present at your home when it's. And when you read it, you do in Krishna, it becomes more and more benefits. Especially with the purpose of Srila Bhagavad. This Bhagavad Gita power had transformed so many people all over the world. I must admit, before I became a devotee, I already started reading different things, and Buddhism and Zen Buddhism, all these things. I started reading different editions. But it didn't produce any change. I said, but when Srila Prabhupada came, and he gave us his books, all over the world, people become devotees. Nowadays, when you ask in our meetings, within temple or so, we meet, how did you come? How did you get in contact with this? Most of the people say, I got a book. I received a book. And Bhagavad emphasizes very much that everyone should have not only Gita, everyone should have a library, Vedic library, Bhagavad, and so many other books. So those who don't have a book of Bhagavad at home, they should take it today. They should take it with them today. And we have a special prize also for you because we love you so much. How much is this?
Donations.
Donations, yeah.
€5.
Oh,
So
just 5.
Those who don't have Bhagavad Gita, they should take Bhagavad
ये
Gita.
तो मेरा प्राइस है.
And Maharaj can also sign it.
Yes.
Then you have a special.
Then €10.
But business. So we, as Maharaj mentioned, we have a lot of Bhagavad Gita and a lot of other small books of Prabhupada who really changed the life of the people. Actually, most of the devotees in the Western world and in the whole world, they become devotees because of the books, reading books. So we have these books.
And if you have a copy already, get another one, so you give it to somebody else. So you don't have to give your own. Because I noticed, when you give one of these books to your friends, they tend to not give them back. Because they're so interesting.
Bhakti Bhushana